What up, y'all? This is Nate Hill coming at you with another video. GC Global Consilience, gathering what we know to help someone else. Now, we've been doing the My Take series, but this is right here is called Consilient Stories. So it's taking your perspective and the perspectives that are presented to you and kind of being along for the ride and the narrative and seeing how this character in the story uses consilience and different approaches to converge on a conclusion or to solve an issue. Most of these stories are for solving a problem, because that's what GC is about, solving issues and gathering what we know to help someone else, as you know. My name is Nate Hill, so let's get right into it. So yeah, this is Consilient story number 7. This is going to be the tour guide. Some of the traits, okay, so we go traits, beginning scenario, the problems, the story, pretty much, and then the solution. So traits of this tour guide. This is a world-renowned tour guide. Gives great once-in-a-lifetime tours. So, you know, once you have a tour with this character, this guide, you probably want to come back for more. In-depth, so this tour guide gives in-depth information about the heritage, the landscape, and the tradition of the city and or country. So, pretty good tour guide, honestly. Very competent. Beginning scenario. On the tour, one of the tourists decides to argue about the direction of the tour and about how it doesn't follow the brochure. Alright. Let's see how this happens. Let's see how this works out. So here we go. Tour guide. Here we are, said the tour guide. Loire Valley. This place is where France gets most of its heritage, because it's where some of the first settlers settled. Then, unexpectedly, this big-time tourist interrupts the tour guide right in the middle of his spiel. This isn't on the brochure. Everyone is startled at this person's comment. And then the tour guide says, well, sir, if you just let me explain. The tourist continues, no. The brochure says we're supposed to go to the Eiffel Tower first, not these ugly houses in the valley. I want my refund. The nerve. Then the group started to go into a frenzy. So it was the straw that broke the camel's back. So then another person says, me too. Yeah, he's right. Kids start jumping in. I want to go to the Eiffel Tower too. The tour guide has dealt with many hecklers before, but this time the group was in on it. So everybody was in on it. Which took his patience to a whole nother level. It was almost like the mutiny against the tour guide. So the tour guide starts to get frustrated. The tension starts to build. So he grabbed his megaphone and said, "Silence!" And everybody in the group quieted down. Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. The reason the tour follows in this direction is because the Eiffel Tower wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for these early settlers. So it's time to pay homage. Ooh. We will travel through the valley, look at some of the landscape, tour the castles, gaze at the French colonial homes, travel past the cathedrals, take a look at the botanical gardens and modernized hotels, and then next stop, Paris, where you scoundrels can go look at your beloved Eiffel Tower. Sound like a plan? And everyone nodded in agreement. It's like, do I make myself clear? Everyone said yes. And the big time tourist said, but the brochure. The tour guide immediately said, sir, one more comment like that, and I am kicking you out of the tour. He said loudly, do I make myself clear, brochure boy? The big time tourist said, yes, and quietly sat back down. Now, as I was saying, you see how the valleys sweep across the lake into the foliage of the backwoods, where our first castle, now I don't know how to say this exactly, is the Chateau Royal Castle. The tour guide got back in control of the tour and everything resumed back to normal. Wow. So as you can see, he was doing his tour, everything was going fine. Somebody decided to try to change the direction and the structure of the tour, and people started to come in with all that, all that jazz, and he decided to really stick to the script and stick to the traditional reason and direction why the tour is the way it is, and provided all these different types of approaches and reasons why the tour is the way that it is, therefore reinforcing strong logic in the tour, and it basically convinced and rang true for the tourists. So yeah, so once again, the solution. The tour guide had to point everyone in the direction of the tour and provided everyone with a reasonable approach, or reasonable approaches on why the tour had to follow that direction. Pretty much taking the historically correct approaches to an all-around solution. So they still got to see the Eiffel Tower, because that's what everybody wanted to see. But he had to take them through the timeline. He had to take them through the narrative to kind of help ring true in these people's heads that this is why the Eiffel Tower is here. And people, kind of definitely understood that, because it's true. If it wasn't for the predecessors, the tower, or the successors wouldn't be there. So there you have it. My name is Nate Hill. Another Consilience story, gathering what we know to help someone else. My name is Nate Hill. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Much love, much health, and much wealth. Peace.